Welcome back, Steelers Nation, to the Northern Steel Podcast. I'm your host, Dominic, and with me, for once, in months, in 2 weeks, in a decade, in years, it's Chris Haskowski. Give it up for Chris.
Hello, I'd like to thank the Academy, and that's all I got. F
You look like you're in a good classic podcast wear right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got a good podcast outfit on?
This is just to hide the fact that I'm balding, and
you know what, me too.
Oh.
Looks
but
like
otherwise,
looks like you got some surgical takes to give today.
I got something. I don't know what I'm giving, but it definitely giving off that energy. That's for sure. But we're in some scrubs, hiding my name tag, so personal reasons. But we're cooking.
Speaking of scrubs, you know who wasn't scrubs? The Steelers' 2024 draft class. That is what this episode is about. We're going to be talking about the draft class, each player, and I think we had another good draft today. But before we get into it, let's talk about some quick Steeler news. Steelers did sign another receiver, Scotty Miller, so it looks like all of our prayers have been solved. Looks like we're good to go, right, Chris?
Wide receiver 2.
And also other news and more disappointing news and sad news and depressing news. The Steelers declined Najee Harris's 5th-year option. Doesn't make a lick of sense at all.
None. At all.
It was
honestly
very
makes
cheap.
me quite sad.
Yeah, it was very cheap, $6.7 million. If he pops off this year, you're only paying $6.7 million next year. And if you're thinking, well, they could send him to a new contract, well, I doubt he's going to take 6.7 per year on the new contract. This could make him have animosity towards the Steelers. There's rumors about him being traded to the Cowboys. We like Najee. This doesn't make any sense. I know that the Arthur Smith runs a different offensive scheme than what Najee's good at. It doesn't make any sense at all to me.
No, not at all. I feel like Najee's caught a lot of hate over the last 3 years since he's been with the team, and that's solely because of his, not as high of yards per carry that he's gotten. But at the same time, you can't deny that this man putting back-to-back 1,000-yard years, that's nuts. That's a really good running back for us, and especially now that we've put him in with Jaylen Warren as that 1-2 punch. How do you get rid of that? I just don't know. I don't understand it.
I'm glad we're talking about this briefly up front because I'm also annoyed if you are listening to this, if you're a newcomer, if you're a Steeler fan, I'm also annoyed at you, Steelers Nation, for constantly expecting these players to be amazing and incredible players right off the bat. First of all, in the case of Najee, he has been great all 3 years to get 1,000 yards in this terrible running scheme, the terrible quarterbacks we've had. You and Chris and I have given Kenny Pickett, when he was on the team, his dues by saying we haven't seen him in a real offense. We haven't seen him with a real coordinator. Same could be said for Najee. We haven't seen him with a real offensive line. We haven't seen him with a better offensive scheme, a better quarterback, and now we get to. But now people want to see him gone? People don't want to see him a 5th-year option? I'm looking at you, Jabroni. Stop talking on the radio.
Whoa. Are we starting up our own diss track right now?
We are. Speaking of, if you haven't been on the website, the diss tracks have been going crazy right now. But yeah, I'll start a diss track right now against Filipponi, against Mark Madden, against half of Steeler Nation who thinks I know things. Calvin Austin getting a lot of gruff, getting a lot of bad comments towards him. What has he even done?
Whoa.
He hasn't done anything.
Dom, slow down a little bit. Let me at least start the beat for you, all right?
Okay.
BBL Drizzy.
Oh, hey.
BBL Drizzy.
Yeah, Steeler Nation. You dogging on my boy Calvin Austin for no reason.
BBL Drizzy.
Here we go, you motherfucker. Okay, give Calvin Austin a chance to see how he can do this offense. If he sucks, he sucks, and I'll take it back. But he hasn't really gotten a chance, so give him a chance first, okay?
Give any of our guys a chance. I mean, I've
For
also seen
real.
reports being like, Omar's just cleaning up, Kevin's mistakes and everything like that. And it's just like, what mistakes? I feel like a lot of these guys haven't even gotten a chance to be in a solid offense. We had Matt Canada suffering with us for like the last 3 years. Like, like Dom said, we wanted Kenny Pickett in a new offense. didn't happen. He wasn't productive enough. Sure. You can't say the same thing about Najee Harris. Dude actually was productive. He was like you know, I can't even think of the word of what I'm trying to think of, but it's like just out and about. He doesn't fit in.
The outlier?
Help me out. Outlier. That's what it is. Oh God, it's been a long day, long last couple months.
The thing is too is, and we've never seen Najee with a good line, and now we have one because transition. Let's talk about the 2024 draft class.
Blah, 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 blah.
And first of all, let's go pick by pick, round by round. No, pick by pick.
Sure.
Let's go pick by pick. And we'll talk about the draft class briefly here. I know all the opinions have been said, so I appreciate you for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you for sticking around, hearing what our two idiots have to say about these picks. But let's talk about it. So the first pick of the draft was Troy Fautanu, left tackle out of Washington, right?
Yes, correct.
Washington. If you happen to watch our stream, please go actually watch the whole thing. I'm going to make a highlight video soon, but we streamed the draft on YouTube live. We were eating hot sauce. We were punishing ourselves. I threw up. Was it a good time? It was to watch. Wasn't a good time afterwards, but it was a good time right now. When that pick happened, because we're suffering from hot sauce, Chris and I reacted poorly. We did not like the pick. We were upset about the pick because when we do the draft profiles, which the draft, we usually get them right. We usually pick up players from our draft profiles. We only got one right this year. We didn't really do that many draft profiles this year. We only got one right. We didn't look at Troy Fautanu because Troy Fautanu is a left tackle. We already drafted a left tackle in Broderick Jones last year. I've been screaming. Exactly. I've been screaming, begging for Broderick Jones to play his natural positions. Kevin Dotson didn't play his natural position. He played it his first year, was amazing. Never didn't play it again. Went to the Rams, now he's all pro. Kendrick Green didn't play his natural position. Went to the Texans, actually was serviceable. Chuck Okorafor didn't play his natural position for us. And now he's on the Patriots, watch him be all pro. We need to play these guys at their natural position. So I was bummed. But. Then we started getting to know Troy Fautanu and looking at his tape and his measurables. And tough to be bummed about it. Dude's a dog. He really is.
He really is.
He's insane, Chris.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I, like you said, super upset about it, thinking about all the mistakes, that different routes that we could have went last year if this is the route we were going to go. But you know what? Like, this dude brings a different level of animosity to the game. This dude's always hustling. He thrives on just like pancaking people, jumping on them, giving them the classic RKO, following up.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to make sure when you're down, you're down. And he's strong. He's big. Lifelong Steeler fan. What more could you really ask for? And the thing that I like the most about him is obviously everyone's thinking the same thing. Oh, he's a left tackle. We have Broderick Jones. We drafted him left tackle. Blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen? And I think they brought it to his attention. He goes, look, I don't care. I will play literally wherever you want me to. I will do that. So I'm not closing the door on Broderick. Left tackle. Yeah,
that was different than Broderick, because Broderick was like, I want to play left tackle, but I'll play right tackle to see the field.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So,
fair enough.
Yeah. So, like you said, he said he can play anything. One of the arguments that people have said is Penix was a left-handed thrower, so Fautanu didn't play his blind side. So people can say, well, he can play right tackle. That's not exactly the same thing because the bends and the movements are still for a left tackle. But regardless, Broderick has almost a full year of experience at right tackle last year. Fautanu is a beast. Lineman in general, super aggressive, super angry. I mean, even if Broderick stays at right tackle, I think it's a good pick. He's kind of a beast. Did you lose me, Chris? You lost me?
No.
Did you lose me?
Hold on. No.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's go on the second round pick. The only pick we got right from our draft profiles, because we were looking at centers, Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. Zach Frazier, we got our center. I know a lot of people were looking between him and A.D. Mitchell, because A.D. Mitchell kept dropping and dropping, but we needed a center. We don't have one on our roster, you guys, and Zach Frazier is again, a beast, a bully. The common theme from this draft, as you'll see, is like farm kids and bully ball was basically like what I got from this draft. Was people who have extremely high work ethic and are extremely tough. I mean, everyone's seen the clip of Zach Frazier breaking his leg in the end of the game and hopping off the field so the team doesn't have to take a timeout. He's got a lot of heart as well. I mean, it was hard to pass up on a center, and we don't have one. And I think, and with, we talked about Najee having a line. Now we have Fatano on one of the sides, and we have Frazier, who's, in my opinion, definitely going to be better than Mason Cole, bum ass. We're for sure we got a really solid foundation for a line right now. And it's something to be really excited about. I'm actually excited to watch linemen play this year and in preseason. What do you think, Chris? Are you still working on something?
Absolutely. We totally made the right move here. And I was trying to fix some technical difficulties on my end. So I don't know if you already said this or not, but like I had heard that Zach Frazier was actually scouted above Jackson Powers Johnson. So even if that pick was available, I think the Steelers knew that they wanted to go Frazier in this round for sure. And I feel like, they hit with Fatanu, and then you go with Frazier, and you're getting the exact same thing. You're getting a dog, you're getting a guy who, plays until the whistle is blown, and it shows a lot of character having that broken leg and still being able to crawl off the field the way that he did. Like I think he is going to be a good piece. I mean, anything realistically is an upgrade from Mason Cole. Granted, I will say we still are weak at that position. All we have is Zach Frazier. I don't know if we're just like gonna bank on other.
Well, all we had was Mason Cole too, but then you have like quote unquote depth pieces that could play there, like Nate Herbig, like Spencer Anderson. So you have like guys who could play there, because last year all we had was Mason Cole as well. But then you had like guys who could play there if someone got hurt.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, long delayed response. Anyways, Zach Frazier, great pick. Great pick. First two picks, lineman, bully ball. It's good. Now we go to the third round and with the tale of the Wilsons. First pick is Roman Wilson. Funny enough, was not part of our draft profile. Chris had asked, actually. You guys want an inside tip of how the podcast works? Chris goes, "Hey, Dom, should we add Roman Wilson to the list?" And I said, "Nah, we're not going to get him." And here we are. We drafted him. Roman Wilson on the list. Wide receiver out of Michigan. Look, I don't think personally. I know it sounds like the reports are the Steelers have hold Roman Wilson in high regards to be wide receiver 2. They can play the outside. He is tough. He's tough as nails. He's got a good attitude. Like I said, it seems to be the mantra, the theme throughout the whole draft class. But he ran a lot of routes from the slot, and he's a really good slot receiver. And I mean, if we can find a number 2 somewhere along the line here, Chris, I'm still holding out hope that we can before training camp. And if not, it is what it is, right? But Roman Wilson, I think, would be an absolute stud in the slot for his rookie year because he played somewhat well there, and he's got sure hands and he's tough. He's everything that DJ wasn't in terms of effort and toughness and catching the ball. So I fell in love with that pick as well for someone I didn't know a lot about.
Hands is by far the biggest thing that we needed in this. And when I was scouting for guys, DJ's replacement is exactly what I was looking for. Now, granted, I think Roman, with his size and speed and everything, he would make an excellent wide receiver 3, and maybe at some point he can make it up to that 2 role. I know he has the confidence. Like, the dude loves to block. You may comment on that. DJ didn't, by clear evidence from some of the games that we saw last year. And so I feel like the pieces that year.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, do you remember what Roman Wilson's his mantra is too? If you don't block, you don't get the rock.
Not word for word. Yeah, exactly.
If you don't block, you don't get the rock.
That's beauty.
So that's the attitude.
Thing. Absolutely, it is. And heck, I mean, some of our favorite wide receivers that we have ever seen play also contributed from that running standpoint. And a big one that comes to mind, Hines Ward, huge blocker for us. He was always a sure hands. The dude, they always commented about how he had like manicures done before games because some of the catches he would make. Heck, maybe, obviously I don't want to go to this point and make this bold statement that Roman Wilson is the next Hines Ward because we got a lot of ball to play before that happens. But like, if we can get a reliable dude who can possibly get that separation and make some solid grabs for us, heck, I'm so happy about the pick. You know, I was not super thrilled with all the other guys that are up there, but the more I've watched him, the more I've heard him talk and like his mentality about it. This dude, so far, I feel like we have hit 1, 2, 3, Pittsburgh Steeler, Pittsburgh Steeler, Pittsburgh Steeler. I am
Yeah, it's
not upset.
it's all about the mentality. It's all about the mentality that they were drafting on. Every player has that same mentality coming into it. They're all hungry to compete, they're hungry to play, and we're not shutting down Roman Wilson as a wide receiver too. That could happen. It's just the college tape is there. He wasn't that good at contested catches. He didn't play. He didn't run on the outside routes a lot, but in the slot, this dude got open all the time. He caught. I think he had the biggest yards per catch in college because he ran the slot.
Yeah.
He got the most open against man coverage. I mean, he just knows how to get open. So I think that's where he should play.
Now, granted, in Michigan's offense, when you throw 5 times a game, you know, those 5 times are probably going to be deep passes for completion. So, but
Right.
all that aside, yeah, exactly. I'm very excited to watch him play. I think it's going to be good. And as far as the contested catches thing too, we have Pickens for that. So like, as long as this dude just gets open and maybe works on his route running a little bit, yeah, I could totally see him take over that wide receiver 2 spot.
And they can potentially not get a wide receiver too because Arthur Smith loves his tight ends, and we have 2 tight ends that weren't really used last year. Pat Freiermuth being a really good one, and a lot of people have hope in Darnell Washington, so it could still be used there. The next pick in the 3rd round was Peyton Wilson. Chris and I wanted to do a linebacker tape. We ran out of time, but I don't know if Peyton Wilson would have been on our linebacker tape. I feel like he's a little. Chris knew about him. He's a little unknown to me. When I looked up the rankings, he wasn't really high up there, but I think it's because of his injury history. And after getting to know Peyton Wilson, I'm not really. Worried's not the right word. I'm not too worried about his injury history. I hope he can stay healthy, but if he can, which he has the past 2 years, I think he's going to be a beast. I mean, his measurables are off the charts. You got something to say?
Yeah.
Got something to add?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, is glitching over here. So for those of you listening, if there's any kind of like pause or anything, I'm not in the best internet case, and it's probably angering Dom. But we'll get to that another
Sure
time.
is.
That's going to be the behind the scenes on our Patreon. You can listen to us argue. It'll be great.
You can pay, sign up for Patreon. You can watch me slap Chris multiple times across the face
Yeah, I can't wait. All right,
per dollar made.
So, honestly, if it gets us a lot of money, keep slapping. I got plenty. So, no, Peyton Wilson, and Dom said he didn't know too much about him and everything, but I actually had Peyton Wilson on my stat sheet for the last 2 seasons because he's just someone that was like constantly a part of every play. If you go and watch his tape, this dude is like so upset if he isn't a part of every single play. He hustles to the ball. He's so quick at shooting gaps. This dude is a phenomenal coverage guy, which is something that bada bing, bada boom, the Steelers have lacked for I don't know how many years. Our coverage linebackers have been atrocious. And I mean, like, I think in college last season, he was ranked 3rd with a coverage grade of like 92.9. That, like, as a linebacker, that's nuts. And so, like, you have the speed, you have the sure hands, you have the coverage ability, and this dude just has, again, this just like leadership mentality. He doesn't seem like the most vocal dude in the room, but at the same time, like, you get him on that field, and he's just like a completely different person. He seems so hardworking, leading all stats at NC State, like year in and year out. Yeah, he has an injury history, but yeah, that was early on in his career. I believe it was like senior year of high school, and then like up until his sophomore year when he like had all of his. But last 2 years, he's been clean, man, and he's been looking good. And that's all without an ACL right now. So I'm so excited for Peyton Wilson. I want him.
His top speed is a little slower than Shazier's, but his acceleration is faster. He is fast like Shazier. That was another thing that Steelers offense has really focused on this offseason has been speed. We've got a lot more speedier players. Peyton Wilson's very fast. He topped out at 23 miles per hour chasing down a guy last year, and I think that's faster than Tyreek Hill's been recorded on a field. He can get there really quickly. He's only got one ACL, which people think is a problem. It's not a problem to Chris and I. Chris is a medical person. He's not worried about it. That's why that's why he works out his legs and strengthens his legs to make sure that's not a problem. We already mentioned Hines Ward. Hines Ward had no ACL in one of his legs. Didn't slow him down at all. Another farm boy, another good attitude boy. He just looks really, really good. And as much as I love Cole Holcomb, his injury news looks worse and worse by the day. And I hope that he can come back, and I pray for him and his recovery. But with the speed and athleticism, it's hard not to be excited about a Roquan. Sorry, not Roquan. Wrong Ravens linebacker. We got a Patrick Queen, a Patrick Queen and a Peyton Wilson duo. Hard not to be excited about that.
Absolutely.
Up next, we skip a couple rounds. Oh no, we don't. It's fourth round, and we go. Yeah, Chris is pumping his hand in the air like he just don't care because we got SDSU boy Mason McCormick, guard.
605 hog is what we like to call him there in Brookings, South Dakota. Dude is a phenomenal guy. I got to meet and know Mason a little bit with my time there. I was graduating as he was kind of getting into the program. So on top of being a standout guy, the dude is just a hustle maniac. He likes to get in there. He likes to get dirty. I don't know, man. That if there is a redeeming part about South Dakota football, which I shouldn't say that because they're actually 2-time national champions back to back, but
you're taking that from because if people don't know him because he's from a small school.
Exactly.
So yeah,
their offensive line has always been studs. In fact, before we started getting the Goddards out there, and now we have like a few of our tight ends and everything. It was our linemen who are kind of making that first jump into the NFL, and you can definitely see why whenever you watch them play. I encourage watch his tape if you can find it. The dude is just a hustle horse. He likes to get after it. Dom, what'd you think after the pick and everything?
I mean, one of his highlight video that he posted is to Motley Crue, and he's got like the big Brian Urlacher neck guard on. I mean, dude, he just looks tough, man. Again, a farm boy, again, right attitude kind of dude. He's just got a tough mindset. It makes you excited to watch linemen this year in preseason. And I know people were a little upset because you don't know ball and you're stupid if you were, that we got a guard when we already have 2 guards laid out. But it's a plan for the future, and I think it was a good pick. Even when we made it, I thought it was a good pick because James Daniels on a contract year. I do think he should be re-signed because he's younger, and also it's a different. Yeah, because he's 26. Yeah, because he's he plays in a position that Mason McCormick doesn't play. We talk about playing positions. Mason McCormick is a left guard, and as much as I like Isaac Seumalo, he is 31 next year. Maybe I don't know if his contract is done, but he could be, or we can move him on from. Regardless, Mason McCormick's there waiting in the wing, and I think he will be someone who could step in right away and be a very solid contributor. And that's really exciting too. So I think it was a good move just for the depth alone to have. And you never know when linemen, if they get injured, you never know when that can happen. And if something, unfortunately happens, you got Mason right there. I feel confident that he can keep the bully ball mentality on the line through an injury.
And I am actually appalled by some of the Steeler fans being upset about it because how many years have we gone through, even if it's just a depth piece that we're drafted through, that we lost some stud linemen or just some serious guys, and then like we just looked like garbage in the postseason. Does anyone remember when we lost Pouncey his rookie year when we played against the Packers in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. That's because Steelers fans just want a playmaker, but they want the playmaker to be amazing now. Because they're spoiled and they're dumb.
Playmakers are sexy picks. I get it. Like whenever we do draft profiles, looking at linemen, first off, we can't do because there's no such thing as lineman highlights. But we were super excited about Broderick Jones, but it's not like we're like, oh yeah, dude, I got to watch this and watch that. It's like, dude, it's just you're getting excited about like what could be and what playmakers can do now that like quarterbacks have time, running backs have time,
right?
Things like that.
However, I will point out that like the odd thing about this year's draft class of linemen with Fatanu, Frazier, and McCormick is they actually do have exciting tape to watch, and I am excited to watch them play because of how aggressive they are. And I'm excited to see them move the pile. And preseason, and we'll get to that when preseason comes. We're gonna obviously we're gonna do a podcast next week for the schedule release, and we're gonna go on a big break before training camp. But when preseason's about to be here, you guys, just like last year when we have a lot of depth, it's gonna be fun this year to watch. It really is. The next pick after McCormick was the 6th round. It was Logan Lee, defensive lineman out of Iowa. Measurables measuring up to Brett Kiesel. I mean, look, guys, you're going the 6th and 7th round. There's not much to say. You just kind of hope for the best for them. But on paper, look good. It's strong. Some depth is there. I'm not expecting anything amazing, but looked really solid. Was pushing the line around. We'll wait to see how he does.
I feel like that's all you're really looking for when you get to those later rounds, especially with those defensive linemen. And something that I think we really need from a depth piece is like, we take Hayward out. He's getting tired. We got to have a dude who still can like hold his own and just, I don't care if he's breaking through the line, just build that wall, make it right. So they're not opening up that hole, make it harder for them. And I think that's something that Logan Lee with his size and especially coming from Iowa's defense can probably help us contribute. He already repped the black and gold, dude.
Right.
Let's just keep it going.
Right.
Make it
and then exactly. And I think it could be really solid. He's a little undersized for D lineman, but so is Kiesel. I don't know. He looked pretty decent. We'll see how he does in preseason and training camp, and what mark he can make on the lines rotation. Same thing with Ryan Watts. That was our last pick in the draft. Ryan Watts out of Texas, I believe. He is a cornerback, but he can play safety. He's very tall. Matches that avatar cornerback that they keep talking about with Joey Porter and Trice, and now Ryan Watts. He could play free safety, he could play strong safety, or he could play slot, because I believe that he's kind of played all around the field. He's a fast guy, tall guy, good hands. Kind of the same situation. Do we want to rely on Ryan Watts to be our only slot guy? Do we want to rely on him to be our only safety depth? I don't know. We'll see. He had good plays too in his tape. He's got good measurables, good athleticism. All of our players are above 9 on the the RAS score, RAS score. But again, that doesn't really mean much. We'll see how he does in training camp and preseason.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, matching that avatar cornerback-esque that Omar's trying to build, but don't have much to really say myself on him. Yeah, I think you touched on it all. Definitely a depth piece. Hopefully we can, coach him up to be more of an asset to the team. But all said and done, welcome, Watts.
Totally. And then got some UDFA's. We're not going to talk about all of them, but I am actually excited for the quarterback to watch a preseason, Plumlee. He's got a good attitude. He's got good energy. He can play wide receiver too, but I don't mind watching him. I know some listeners were like, "Why did we get a quarterback UDFA?" Because we already have 3 quarterbacks. No offense to Kyle Allen, who's a Steeler now, and I respect for you, but I don't really care if he makes a team or not. Plumlee seems exciting to me. I'd rather watch Plumlee play, to be honest. The running back from Georgia, all he does is make cut moves. So look for him to potentially make the team, especially if they're going to trade Najee. Just kidding, they're not. Please don't. And Beanie Bishop is someone I know that the team is excited about. Safety, cornerback. What does he play?
Cornerback. Yep. Yeah,
I think I've talked about him being slot cornerback as well. Beanie Bishop from West Virginia made some good plays for them. So there's some other ones on there, but again, those are all pieces that we'll put on a preseason list to watch when it gets down to it. Because if you have anything to say about it, I'm not going to move forward if you have anything to say about them.
Not really. I mean, the only other guy that I know that we've gotten is Jacoby Winmom out of Michigan State. The only reason I bring up his name is the guy that I've been following. His stats kind of came on hot last year, but then kind of fizzled off. I think he has a high upside, but maybe just didn't quite put enough out
position?
There. He's a linebacker.
Outside? Inside?
I want to say inside.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Don't know much.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with UDFAs. We're not. We're just trying to move along. We got a busy day today, but Jalen Warren was a UDFA. Plumlee outdid his contract. Warren had like a record-breaking UDFA contract, and Plumlee already outdid it. So I think there's some exciting guys to watch when preseason comes around. We'll see how training camp goes if these guys can make a mark there at least. and it could be exciting. But that's going to do it for this week's podcast. A little short one because everyone has already talked about draft picks, so we're a little late in the game, but that's okay. We'll be here next week to talk about the schedule release, go through. It'll be a short one too because there's not a lot to talk about, but we'll go through each week and I'll give our prediction about can they win, can they, how can they perform against these guys, and what we're looking towards with those games. But otherwise, that'll be it for this week's podcast. My name is Dominic. This is Chris. You can follow us on all of our socials. That is Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Vine, MySpace, Omegle, Facebook, FaceChat, ChatFace, Two Shop, and Spotify Genius. Chris, do you have any other things to add?
Go Steelers.
Go Steelers. Here we go. Looking for a new season. I was going to rhyme again, but don't catch me in the rat beef. No, don't catch me in the rat beef. Don't get me started. Here we go. Okay. See you guys next week. Doses.
Peace.